It's Kral Space. It's Kral Space. It's Kim. I'm Kim Kral. I'm reporting to you live from my closet. I'm not live. I say that every week. I think I'll continue saying that every week. Oh man, I have so much to talk about today. I was really excited to get into my closet. I think I recorded a theme song. Okay, if this happened, then you've already heard it and you're like, now this is the explanation for what the fuck that was, and then tell me if you like it or not. But I've been told I should have like a song in the beginning, and I don't have any opening music or closing music. And then for Dash, they had me record and sing my own Crawl Space song. So I did, and I think I'm going to add it to this episode. I'm really nervous about it. I don't know why, because like on Dash, it just seems like Dash is a radio station, like an internet radio station like Sirius, but it's free. You should check it out. If you don't know what it is, if you listen to this, you probably know what it is because, you know, I had a show on Dash, and I will have a show on Dash. Every week I promise, or I don't promise, but every week I like hope it's going to be the following week. After I record this episode today, I'm going to call Dash. I'm going to call and see where we're at in hopefully getting the first episode aired. Truthfully, I'm kind of scared because the first episode was so good. The Crawl Space live Dash was, I mean, it's not live right now just because, you know, the world's on fire. But it was so good that I'm like nervous. I'm like, I guess you can't peak in your first episode. It's like peaking in high school. I've been thinking a lot about that lately, peaking in high school. It's ever since, if you listen to last week's episode, it's ever since I thought about that broad getting so mad about the protests and her like son didn't get to graduate high school or didn't get to go to his graduation. And it's like, I'm going to say it again. If you're like 40 and one of your peak memories is your high school graduation ceremony, you have a lot more to unpack than that. Like, that's like 20 years of just like I'm going to say my high school graduation ceremony is like my 23,000th favorite memory of all time. And that's just because I can't think of a bigger number. And I don't even know if I said that right. Speaking of high school, this crazy, I lost a friend on Facebook, not dead. She's not dead. I know I need to clarify that because I talk about death a lot, but, she unfriended me, and truthfully, I have no idea when she did it. Like, it could have been 7 years ago. I have no idea. We were like best friends in like elementary school, junior high, high school, and she was just one of those girls that like, got a job right out of high school. Like didn't go to college, didn't know like trade school, nothing, just got like a random job that my dad was always weirdly impressed with, which, you know, if you know a lot about my dad, I don't know. Actually, he was all right at business. So, was he? I don't know, man. I don't need to unpack my dad today. I feel like we've done that a lot. But, yeah, she got like a job right out of high school at like some like trucking company thing, and has worked in the same company ever since. Like, she got pregnant a couple of times, aborted a few kids. That was kind of weird. Like, there's like, truthfully, like, our entire adult lives, I've never really cared for her. And like, through most of our schooling, I never really cared for her, but like, I'm such a people pleaser, and I like have such an issue with like letting friendships go, or I have in the past. I don't know, now I'm just like, see you later, left and right. Who gives a shit? If you don't think I'm magical or you're not fucking on my side, I don't want you in my life. And I think everyone should feel that way. Like, I don't want people who don't encourage and love the fuck out of me in my life. And that sounds, there's going to be like a couple people out there, like half of you are going to be like, that's sound advice. And then the other half are going to be like, yeah, why the fuck would you have people in your life that aren't in your corner? Well, if you had a bad childhood, you are conditioned to think that like abuse is normal, and like gaslighting and all that bullshit is like normal and part of it. But so like, we had a fun friendship growing up. Like, she was super weird. She was super weird too. So I want to tell all the stories about her. It's just so weird. Like, and truthfully, the only reason why I know that she unfriended me is because, so she had the abortions and then she got pregnant again. And we were 21 when she got pregnant again. And I remember I was on the toilet at my job, my first job in LA, which was like a sketchy phone room, which was like everyone, oh my God, the bottom of my leg itches so bad. And I'm afraid if I itch it, I'm going to knock everything over. Oh, I did it. When you have an itch and you're just like, I'm not going to be able to concentrate in anything else. So I was at my I worked at like a sketchy phone room, and like most of that job was just trying to figure out how not to do that job. Like there was like 7 people that like actually made phone calls, and then the rest of us just kind of fucked off. So one of my days where I was just sitting on the toilet hanging out, probably wasn't pooping, was probably just hanging out, who knows. She calls me, and I'm the last of our friends she tells that she's pregnant again. And she was like, I was scared to tell you because I was super judgy, apparently. I don't have shame about being judgmental when you refuse to use prophylactics and have had multiple abortions. Like, I'm super pro-choice, but like, I'm also super like, it's not like a punch card situation. Like, what the fuck are you doing? And so, like, super pro-choice. Like, I worked for Planned Parenthood. Let me just be clear with that. But like, so I'm just like, but the irresponsibility of like multiple abortions in like a year or two, and like, it's just like, girl. And it was like laughed at from her. Yeah, it's no real loss that she unfriended me. I know you're probably thinking that, but maybe I should have told all this awful stuff about her after I told all the funny shit we did when we were kids, all the weird shit actually. But so I'm on the toilet, and she calls, and she's like, I'm nervous to tell you, and you're the last of the friends to tell because I know you're judgmental. She's like, I'm pregnant. And like, I remember clear as day, I yelled in that bathroom as loud as I could. And it was just like instinct, like knee-jerk reaction. I was like, haven't you ever heard of fucking prophylactics? What are you doing? She did end up keeping that kid though, which is good. Or bad. You know, I again, very pro-choice, but like, don't get 7 abortions. Like, nowadays we're also scared of, someone listening and being offended. I imagine I've offended a lot of people, especially with all the poop talk. People get really bummed out about how much I love poop. To those people, I say, not your podcast then, man, not your podcast. But she did keep that kid, and the kid's like 16 now or something like that, which totally ages me. And then she has anywhere from 2 more to 5 more. Like, she's that friend that like her kids all kind of look the same, and like I don't know, and we're not close, so like I mean, I don't, the last time I think I talked to her was a couple of years ago in a group text when we were all supposed to meet for brunch. Like, the girls from high school were all supposed to meet for brunch. And then she picked a place downtown, which is, in any city, going downtown is kind of a nightmare, especially if it's snowing, you don't live there. I don't know. So she picks the fucking place and then cancels. But the other girls and me were like, well, I still want to go. And then on the way down, I was like, actually, like, I don't really care for her. I've never really cared for her. So it was like, so anyway, this morning I really like, no, I just belched, sorry. This morning I have so much to talk about today. I mean, I guess if I don't get to all of it, I always have next week. Like, but it's been a very eventful 7 days. Every morning I like to look at my time hop on Facebook. I don't know. It's just kind of fun to see I mean, I quote an uncomfortable amount of Katy Perry. I don't know. It was like 10 years ago, so I can't tell you exactly what 10 years ago Kim Kral was going through, but just a lot of Katy Perry, man. And that's always really fun. But then you also get to see like Henry, my cat, my beloved cat, and I celebrated 9 years together on the 20th. And I got to see, I've been getting to see on Time Hop, like all of how I felt about Henry 9 years ago, which was like, oh my God, he talks a lot. Oh my God, I love him. Yeah, we're best friends. I've been wishing him happy anniversary for a week and a half. I don't care if people think I'm a crazy cat lady. If you met this cat, you guys would be like, oh, I understand. Like, I have another cat. She's all right. I love her, but she's a cat. So it's just like, she just kind of does her own thing. Sometimes she cuddles with me, and most of the time she hides under the bed or lurks. She's just like a cat, and she's a part of the unit, and she's with us. But like, Henry's my king. So I was going through Time Hop, and I saw weirdly I saw a picture of Henry from 9 years ago, and then I saw 4 comments, and I wanted to look to see who had commented, right? And so my friend, her name is Stephanie. I don't know why I'm trying to like, who gives a fuck, right? I'm not going to say her last name, but Stephanie had commented a bunch about Henry, right? 9 years ago. So I was like, oh, I wonder what that broad's up to these days. So I like click on her profile and it's like add friend. I'm like, guess she unfriended me. But then I like went through her posts, not for a long time, but for a little bit. And then I also went through the baby daddy, the first baby daddy. And he's like Trump 2020 all over his Facebook. And then I also unfriended a kid I dated that was friends with all of them my senior year, or the summer between senior year and freshman year of college. I went to his page too. I was like, oh, we're friends too. I wonder what happened to that guy. Whew, just a lot of really stupid shit about how Trump is a genius. And I was like, I know we're supposed to be trying to educate people, but like, I am not going to sit down and send Matt McCann a message about why he's wrong about Donald Trump, especially when you go to the messages between the two of us. It's usually him texting me at fucking 3 a.m. being like, hey, you look really good now, blah, blah, blah. So I just unfriended that dude. But Stephanie, yeah, I'm like, I guess it must have been, the fact that I believe Black Lives Matter, or that Trump is going to kill us all if we elect him again. Or I don't know, who knows. She also is that friend too, and like this is maybe a PSA as well. Like, and I know I've been really PSAing, giving a lot of PSAs. You all understand, I think. Who knows? Lately, I know I've been really like preachy lately about like self-love, but it's so important. Especially right now, the world is like, oh God, I mean, all of the news is COVID, Trump, Black Lives Matter, racism. Like Black Lives Matter, those posts are beautiful and but then there's the counterparts and like the amount of hate and racism that is coming out of that, and like not coming out of that, it's been around forever, but is like coming out of hiding because they feel safe now. And then all of the sexual harassment, assault in the comedy community, which I'll share a little bit about later in the hour. But so it's just like, it's, just like our news, just like the world, so much is going on. And like self-care right now is really important. And also being informed is really important. I have a couple of friends who just like, I don't watch the news. And like, I was thinking about that the other day, and it is like, I mean, I respect their whatever, because they're like, it's self-care. Like, I get way too wrapped up in it. But I was thinking about that because I was texting with one of them, and they didn't know what was going on in some stuff. And I was just like, that's really lucky of you that you don't need to keep up with what's going on in the world because it doesn't really affect you. You're not a woman. You're not black. Like, you're white male. And like, you don't have to keep up with what's going on in the world because you don't have to worry about maybe your rights being taken away on any level. And like, I know there's like there's a big balance between being informed and taking care of yourself. And like, but I think not being informed and like being like, oh, whatever, like, I don't really, like, it's like the same people are like, well, I don't really vote because it doesn't, like, it's just like, it's your privilege. And like, congratulations, none of the scary shit is affecting you. I don't know. So I'm like, be informed, but also take fucking care of yourself. Like, I went in a rabbit hole the other day of all this Dalia stuff, and I don't know, like, I come from sexual abuse, and I've shared that, or I've alluded to it. I'm not sure if I've come out and said it, but I was sexually abused, and I still have family around me that either justify it or don't believe me. And so the Dalia stuff is just really triggering because it's just like a world of people being like, I mean, he didn't rape her. And like, it's just like, God. So but so I'm really preaching like self-care. God, where did we, oh yeah, we'll go back to Stephanie. And then we'll get to Dalia. And then I'll also tell you some poop. And you should see my notes today. It's like, obsessed with what made people popular in high school. Boob cheese. I still have no idea where Washington, D.C. is. I do know where it is. Like, actually, I looked it up. I mean, I know it's like, well, I know it's on the East Coast, but like, if you drop me in the middle of nowhere, I'd have to like Google where to go. I guess you could say that about pretty much anything, though. So I guess I shouldn't be too hard on myself. Like, it's not like I think Washington, D.C. is in Washington State. Man, I have had that written down for like the whole podcast, and I was like, don't say that out loud. Don't say it. You looked it up. It's where it's at. I can't explain it right now, but it's like in a pocket. My buddy Roger, hi Roger, who listens, lives in Maryland, and I need to go visit him, once it's safe. And I'm like, the only thing I want to do while I'm there, besides of course see him, is go to Obama's old house. And if you don't know what I mean by that, I mean the White House. I don't like to acknowledge whatever his name is lives in the White House. I like to call it Obama's old house. And then, like, if I go to Baltimore, like Maryland, I'm going to want to go to D.C. He lives like an hour away from D.C. And, like, I don't want the current occupant of the White House to take away seeing some cool shit. So, yeah, I guess you guys are all used to this kind of being all over the map. I don't even remember when I started this podcast today. Normally I look. I got a lot of sleep yesterday, and it's just been a wild couple of days. It just, like, time isn't real. Like, every day it's just something new where you're just like, take care. Oh, okay, we're back to Stephanie. So she might have deleted me because of Black Lives Matter, which is cool. Delete me, bye. Because she's going to support Trump, or she supports Trump. Also cool, bye. And then also, like, Stephanie and I growing up, I mean, this broad had an interesting child. Like, she had a home life of her own. I have no idea what was going on in that house, but, like, the way she, like, was in the world, and the way her mom, and who her mom is, everyone evolves and grows. And I think I'm friends with her mom on Facebook. Her mom might have deleted me too. Maybe it was a group effort. That's how egotistical I am. I imagine her whole family getting together and being like, we're going to delete Kim today. Let's have a barbecue for deleting Kim. That probably didn't happen. But growing up, anytime I would shine or something good would happen to me, Stephanie wasn't happy for me. Like, wasn't, like, she wasn't, yeah, she just, like, she would shit on me. Or she would shit on me behind my back. Or she would just shit on me. Like, just and I know that has nothing to do with me, but, like, I kept people like that in my life for way too long. Like, I'm talking, like, up until last year. If you don't think I'm fucking pure magic, I just don't need you in my life. Like, don't think I'm pure magic over there. We're good. Bye. So I'm happier than I've ever been. My career is, slowly but steadily moving up, and, like, my dreams are coming true. Dreams I've talked about since Stephanie and I were, in third grade. And, like, I'm sure that, me shining, she's just always had an issue with it, all the way from third grade to, the last time I saw her, which God knows when that was. But, oh God, I just got this long email about I'm on a comedy show tonight. I'm on a Zoom comedy show. So this is Wednesday. I procrastinate recording this episode I'm like, I should record it on Monday, so I'm not, like, panicking before noon. But you know what? It's worked out so far, and the episodes have been great. So, but I have a Zoom show tonight if you are interested in seeing me do some Zoom comedy. I'm going to be honest with you. The Zoom comedy, I don't do my stand-up. I just tell stories. I mean, I guess that's what my stand-up is too, but, like, it's just much different in your apartment, just, like, sweating. I'll be sweating. It all comes back to me sweating. But I will be posting that later today on my Instagram and Facebook. So if you want to come, I think it's free. So just come. I think if you want to Venmo the people you like, because all of us are out of work humans right now. But yeah, I'll post that today. So I have a Zoom show. So I just got a big email about that. But Stephanie and I, Stephanie, so who knows why she deleted me, but it started making me think about, it's hard to, like, take a 180 right now, because there was a reason why she was my friend when we were little. I don't remember how we became friends. We were really young. We were like 8, maybe 7 or 8. But she was fucking weird too, man. She was weird. And as you probably, I was a weird kid. And, oh man, I mean, I'm just, like, thinking of all of the stuff that, like, she had 3 or 4 brothers. I don't know why I can never remember how many humans live in a household. If you all look the same, it's very hard to be like, were there 3 or 4 of them? Like, I'm sure when I was there, I probably knew I think there were 3. No, I feel like there were 4. I don't know, whatever. I know one of her brothers killed a hamster, and I think about that once a week. Like, put it in, like, a tube, like a wrapping paper tube, and, like, closed it off, and it suffocated and died. And not only is that horrifying in its own right, but, like, that whole family didn't seem shaken by any of it. No one was sad the hamster died. No one was not even remotely freaked out that the kid might be a serial killer or a sociopath because he locked an animal. And that's really sad. I should put a trigger warning on that. But, like, I think about that once a week. But like, so she had these brothers, and okay, here I go. This is where I'm gonna start telling you some weird shit I did as a kid. So Stephanie and I got my cousin Adrienne to do this too, I think. Sorry, Adrienne. I try not to call out people's names when I say information like this that are in my life. You know what I mean? Like Stephanie, like who? Oh God, there's something in my closet. It's not Henry, and it's not alive, but it feels furry. I think it's a shoestring. It's fine. Okay. I got Stephanie and I one day were bored, and we were like, Stephanie and I were always like, what is the weirdest? I always ended up finding friends that are like, who later would be like, I was never weird until I met you. Now Stephanie would claim that, but we also met at 8. So I was like, well, what did you do before 8? Yeah, I was weird before 8, but like, you're still you're forming. So like, you can't claim, maybe I influenced your weirdness, and you're welcome. But so we tried to do as much weird, gross shit as we possibly could, and a lot of it had to do with going to the bathroom. A lot of it, I don't know, she was my friend that she's my first friend that I peed my pants with. We were in 6th grade, and we were playing tetherball, and I remember what made us laugh so hard, but it's not funny. Like you know, when you serve tetherball, like you're the server and the other person, you go, do you want to be served up or down? I don't remember what that means, but I remember it was always a question you asked. And she goes, well, I want to go down, but I can't. And I remember that so vaguely, so vividly. But I don't remember why it was so goddamn funny. The two of us could not stop laughing, and we were already talking about how we were going to pee our pants. So we could not stop laughing, and then we both squat down, and then we pee our pants. Like, we both pee our pants. It's 6th grade. We run. Oh my God, I can't believe, she unfriended me on Facebook, so who gives a fuck, right? And also supports Trump. I'm pretty positive. She runs to fucking... We run to Mrs. Lawlier, who is the aide, and we yell, Miss Lawlier, we have to go to the bathroom. And she's like, girls, recess is almost over. Can you wait until recess is over? Which, by the way, don't make a child not go to the bathroom. That's bananas. That fucks up a bladder. But that's a side note. But Stephanie and I scream in unison, we peed our pants! And she goes, oh, God, go. So then Stephanie and I go to the bathroom. I don't know what we did to try and clean it up, but we both wet our pants in 6th grade. And the best part about that is Stephanie and I were there was 2 popular groups. One that was, quote, the most popular group in all of school. And then the second one was the second most popular group in all of school. And I was in the second most popular group in all of school. But Stephanie and I were so fucking weird that I think it was just by mistake we just got in this group. I remember we did this with this talent show, and oh man, one year we did the talent show where we there's a Weird Al Yankovic song that's called Ale. I don't know. It's Ale Ale Taco Ale Ale Grande. I don't know what the song was. I don't know where the fuck we found the song. I was never a Weird Al Yankovic fan, so it's not So I don't know where the fuck we got that song. But we got. Did we get Roxanne or Tiara that year? These 2 really popular girls, or should have been in the more popular group, but were in our group. We got them. So it was one of them, and then the other year we did Color Me Bad, All for One, a dance that I choreographed, I guess. But what the Ale Ale Grande, so I think it was Roxanne. It doesn't matter. But we got 3 shirts, 1 black, 1 white, 1 gray, with Garfield on it that says, give me coffee and no one gets hurt. And then we painted our faces white like mimes, and then just walked from one. I would kill for this video because there was nothing to it in front of the whole school. We walked from one end of the stage to the other, stopping at one. So we'd walk together. We started at one end, and it would be Ale Ale, and then we'd stop at one end of the stage, and all together put our hands up like sparkle fingers over our mouths and lip saying taco, and then walk to the other side of the stage during Ale Ale. and then all got together really close and spread our arms out like birds and went grande. And we did that for the 3-4 minutes, whatever, how long that song was. But before we go on stage, I think I choreographed that one too. Before we go on stage, and Stephanie and I don't know, we were just weird. We just didn't give a fuck if people thought we were weird. I like Aspen, our other best friend, who I saw that she deleted her too. I won't tell Aspen because I think Aspen might be a little more, I don't know if Aspen listens to this. Hi, Aspen. I don't know if she listens to this, but, I don't, so who knows why she deleted us. Maybe she saw that Julie and Aspen came to visit me this year and we didn't invite her. But she didn't delete Julie. I don't know. I should just email her and ask her. Like, hey, it's cool. I just have a podcast that I'd like to tell my listeners why you deleted me. These are my 3 theories. That maybe I will. I don't know. DM me if you think I should. I don't read my DMs. I'm trying to. They just get overwhelming. Now there's like 400 of them. Probably not all from this. There's some guy named Adam Meyer that messages me every 2 or 3 weeks at 3 a.m. Hey, beautiful, just thinking about you, or some shit like that. I don't know. I hear he's like a known creeper in the comedy community, but I've never heard of him. We're not friends on Facebook. It's just like, and I've never responded to him. So there's a lot of messages like that so if you don't hear back on my DMs, it's just because sometimes I just don't look at them for a while because they're insane. But right before we go on stage for that talent show, Roxanne comes up to us, and it makes it even funnier if you think of her wearing her Garfield shirt and a mime face. She comes up and she goes, I don't think we should do this. We are the second most popular group in all of school. We have a reputation to uphold. And Stephanie and I were just like, brr. Like, so Aspen, said she saw us. We became friends with Aspen in 7th grade. Aspen was super weird in elementary school. We still talk about this. She goes, I was fucking weird. And we were weird, like weird. Aspen was just quiet, so I think people just thought she was weird over that. But Aspen said she's like, one time I saw the 2 of you walking down the street or walking down the hallway, flailing your arms about, going blah, 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 blah. I mean, loudly, and like 6th grade. I don't know how we got a part of that second. So we peed our pants, right? And then I don't know what it fucking ignited, but Stephanie and I peed our pants every other day from laughing after that. And we just got kind of used to doing it. In fact, my 6th grade yearbook, Stephanie signed it. I can't believe I'm telling you this. Stephanie signed it and was like, next year in junior high, we can't even tinkle. Like, cause we would, so I remember one time we were in 7th grade and she became friends with this girl, Joanna, who is so cool. Like, Joanna shaved her head freshman year of high school and didn't give a fuck what anybody thought. And like, now that's like, if you're in high school now, you're like, yeah, who cares? But in like 1996, that was fucking ballsy, dude. And so I remember one time we were in the bathroom in junior high, just like hanging out like you do, I guess. Stephanie, Joanna, and me. And Joanna, we all said something really funny, and we all started laughing, which made us have to pee. Now, Joanna just got up and walked straight into the stall and peed, and Stephanie and I sat there and laughed so hard we both peed our pants. I one time was on the road telling jokes. We were driving. I was with 3 comics. We were going to San Francisco, which was like my biggest show at that time. It's like a winery, performing for like 400 people. It was horrifying, but it was so awesome. But on the way there, I don't know what sparked this, but I started telling these boys about how I peed my pants all the time with my 2 best friends. And, I don't know, I think I almost peed my pants from laughing really hard in that car. And one of the guys, the headliner was like, hey, Kim's a dude. Like, why? Like, cause I was so happy about bathroom stuff. So Stephanie, man, I remember, so the brothers, so we were really into bathroom stuff, right? And the brothers, so one time we were hanging out really into bathroom stuff. That sounds like sexual. We just thought bathroom stuff was funny. And we always wanted to be we just wanted to be as weird as we possibly could. Like one time she had this dog named Barkley, this big ass dog. And one night we were like, we should sleep in that doghouse. But we knew like her mom wouldn't let us. I don't know why her mom wouldn't let us. She was a pretty absentee mother, I believe. Maybe not. That might be judgy. Sorry, lady. But I feel like, I don't know. Stephanie went camping with my family one time. And my dad talked about this all the way till he died. He was just like, there's something going on in that family. Because we went camping in the mountains. And they sent their like 10-year-old daughter with Stephanie with no jacket to camping. My dad's like, I don't know. So there's just like neglect maybe. And then Stephanie broke her arm on that trip. We were playing hide and seek. There was like, we went to the same campground every year, and there was like a playground, and Stephanie stood on a tree stump, but it wasn't connected to the ground, so she fell and broke her arm in like 2 places. And I ran back to camp. I was an asshole kid. I ran back to camp and I was laughing. I was like, Dad, Stephanie broke her arm and it's not funny. And my dad was like, why are you laughing then? I'm like, 'cause it's so funny. But we like took her to a hospital in a nearby town, like miles away, because it was in the middle of nowhere. We were camping, and my dad called her parents. And her parents basically was like, okay, well, she's alive, right? And my dad was like, yeah. And they were like, all right, well, we're going to go to church and we have a bunch of stuff to do. You're still going to bring her home tomorrow, because it was like Memorial Day. And my dad was like, why, if my kid broke her arm in the middle of nowhere with some family, I would go drive and get her. Now, if my father is side-eyeing you about parenting, I'm going to go ahead and deduct that you weren't a very good parent, right? Like, it's like if, I don't know, there's nothing more I can say about that. But so I don't know why Stephanie's mom and dad would not have let us sleep in the doghouse. So we like stayed up, we pretended to go to bed, and then we stayed up until everyone was asleep. And then we got a sleeping bag and a candle. And then we climbed into the doghouse and lit the candle because we needed light. And then we ended up not being able to sleep in the doghouse. This is pretty anticlimactic. I can't say that word. Because we couldn't sleep in the doghouse because her big ass dog kept trying to climb in there with us. I still have like a vivid memory of that. So one time Stephanie and I were bored, and we were like, it was probably my idea, especially since my cousin Adrienne had, I don't know, a couple years ago was like, remember when we used to do this? And I was like, oh, I did that with you too. So I imagine it was my idea. But I don't fully know. I don't know. I'm so shy about telling you this. We used to take her brother's towels that were in the linen closet and pee on them and then let them dry and put them back. And then we'd wait for her brothers to use it, which they did every time. Which, by the way, like after I told you the hamster story, I mean, they were sociopaths. So, like, of course they didn't mind drying off in urine towels. Oh, man. One time we were bored and we were sitting there and we were like, do you want to get naked and play checkers? Oh, my cat's starting to meow. He ruined my punchline. It's not a punchline, but we were like, do you want to get naked and play checkers? So we got naked. We were like, I don't know, probably 12, maybe. I don't know. Which also, I had a lot going on in my house. I had evidence a lot was going on in her house. I don't know what kids were like, hey, we should get naked and just sit around naked and play checkers. But we did. And probably helped us not pee our pants because we had no pants on. But so we're playing checkers, and one of her older brother, or her brother that was the oldest brother, he was like a year younger than us. He had this friend named Michael Martinez, I think. We had such a crush on him, and we would like fight for his attention, which is so funny now. So we're playing checkers naked, and he walks in on us just sitting there naked. And I just remember both of us were like, get out! Get out! And then we came downstairs, and he was like, were you guys naked playing checkers? I think that's going to be the name of this episode, which is really funny because I try to make the episodes. You probably have noticed so far that, like, I mean, sometimes they match, but like usually it's just something just like a clickbait, naked checkers. But yeah, man. And the poop scoop this week. So one time we were bored and we spent a lot of time in her room too. Like she and I both spent a lot of time. Again, I think something's going on in that household because I spent all of my time in my bedroom and like ate dinner in my bedroom. Like literally all of my waking hours was in that room, or I was trying to escape not seeing my dad, right? So who knows what was going on in her household, but we were always in her bedroom, and she had this trash can, this like, I think it's aluminum, at Christmas time when you get the popcorn tin that has like 3 sections that have the 3 different popcorns. So she used that tin as a trash can. And she and I one time were in her room, and we I can't believe I was going to say this so casually. I mean, we peed in that trash can all of the time. I can't. All of the time. Like, it was like the bathroom was like down the hall. It was like maybe you could like 5 feet from her bedroom. We peed, but we thought it was so funny to pee in that trash can. I wonder now, I never asked, like, because all my trash cans were like baskets, so you couldn't pee in them. Not that, oh my God, I'm crying. Don't worry, I won't pee my pants. Haven't peed my pants since I was 30, 8 years ago. And that one was just because I was, I held it for too long. There was no laughter. It just happened, man. Father time, I guess. I never asked her, like, so when do you dump out the pee? And like, I'm sure she just dumped it out in the toilet. But we peed in her trash can all the time, and we thought it was so funny. And so one day we're hanging out, it's late night, I remember it was so late, and she didn't have a real light in her bedroom. She had like one of those weird floodlights, the really bright light. She had that for a little while, and so we're sitting in her like bedroom with that light, and we're talking, and I'm like, I gotta poop. And I don't remember whose idea it was, but it was like, I should poop in that trash can. So I pooped in the trash can, and I can't believe I pooped in that trash can, and she recorded it. But like there's camcorders at the time, so she recorded it on a tape deck, and then she dared me to pick it up and look at it. I think I picked it up with, God, I wish this was the first time. I don't think this is the first time I've told you guys that I've picked up my own poop. Jesus Christ. And so, like, the tape is basically me pooping, her reaction to it, and then me picking up the poop, and then our reaction to the shape of the poop. Now, I went home and went about my merry life, like, didn't think much of it. And then a while later, she played the tape for me and, like, blackmailed me over it. I can't remember what she wanted or what I was supposed to do, but she was like, I have this on you. And that's not even the part that I remember about the whole incident. Years and years later, I told my mom and my mom's sister Vicky, who is like super duper Jehovah's Witness, which, like, sidebar, I'm starting to like talk to my Jehovah's Witness side family, and they're funny. I mean, not funny, like funny as in, we've been laughing, we've been having a good time. It's kind of fun to connect. They are respecting my boundary that I will not talk about their religion, because I will bury them with facts, and also compassion and empathy. Those are things that so it is a little hard sometimes to have a relationship with people that I so fundamentally disagree with. That was a hard left. Sorry. So I was telling my mom and my very Jehovah's Witness Aunt Vicky. And in hindsight, I should have just told my mom. My mom would have thought it was funny. But it's because I was telling it in front of her judgmental older sister. I tell them this whole thing. I was in 3rd grade. I was probably 11, 12. I don't know what grade that is. But I was, I wasn't like 5. But, I was preteen. I'm way too old to just be, going to the bathroom in my friend's trash can all the time. And so I tell them, and I, all these years later, remember how very angry my Aunt Vicky was at me. Just like, you should be ashamed of yourself. I was a little kid. I wasn't like a toddler, but I wasn't like 20. It's not like I pooped in a trash can 4 days ago. But I remember my mom like kind of thinking it was funny, and then seeing Vicky's reaction and being like, yeah, it's fucked up. She didn't say fuck. You're not allowed to say fuck if you're a Jehovah's Witness. In our Zoom chats, the boundary is they don't talk about religion, and I don't say fuck, which is real hard if you listen to this podcast. I say fuck all the time. So that's Stephanie, man. I guess this is one more story about Stephanie, and then we'll move on. Oh man. So Stephanie, she, maybe 2 more stories. Well, one just paints the picture. So she had some hair stuff. And that, let me explain. Like, by that, I mean, she was like cutting her own hair and plucking her own eyebrows. And, in hindsight, again, I think there's just a lot of neglect in that household. So I don't mean to laugh at it, because I remember like our friend Aspen learned how to drive before. She's a year older than us. So Aspen and I would take Stephanie out in this little truck that her family had and like teach her to drive. Like, Stephanie got boobs before all of us, and they didn't buy her a bra. So she would like steal her mom's bras. And I'm not saying last names, and I'm sure I'm friends with I'm not friends with her on Facebook anymore, so good luck looking her up. But, just like, so the neglect was probably like, obviously massively there. So I'm not laughing at any of that. In fact, like, most of this episode is an ode to my best friend in childhood. And it's sad that, we aren't whatever happened that made her delete my friendship. But I'm imagining it's what everybody's deleting friendships over these days. And I know for 100% fact I'm on the right side of history. So if it makes me lose some friends because I believe in equality and love, and I think what is happening is debilitatingly, like, I am debilitated with my, like, I'm sensitive, I'm empathetic, and I feel everything. And what's going on in the world right now, like, I have to do I've taught daily self-care. Like, I mean, like, boot camp daily self-care. I'm not talking like, light a candle and fucking meditate for 3 minutes. I'm talking like daily. I fell off for a couple of days after my birthday from being hungover, and then also emotionally hungover too. I get overwhelmed with love when I receive a lot of love. It feels foreign to me. It feels uncomfortable because I'm used to my upbringing, which was, chaotic and unhealthy and codependent love. And so when like real love comes my way, I want to push it away. So after my birthday, I hung over for sure all day Friday because it was a good time. It was awesome. But like, I get enough funk, I guess, just because, if I'm honest, it's, I don't believe I deserve it. And I know that's not true, but like my like internal hard drive that I'm vigorously working to rewire every day, tells me that I am not worthy of love. And, so this took a weird turn, I know. But so this is kind of an ode to my old friend that I guess we, it's kind of a tale that's pretty common right now. A lot of people, our country is really divided, and it makes me really sad that on one side you have really, really uneducated people with really, really educated rich people that are really trying to, like, it's insane. It's like really uneducated people and then really rich white people that are like, yeah, keep voting because you don't understand that I am, making a ton of money off of you. And then on the other side, it's like empathy, love, education, compassion. But and that's my opinion. And I think it's right. But so it's this, a lot of this episode is an ode to my friend Stephanie and, 30 years of friendship, or, technically like 20. We haven't really spoken in I think the last time I saw her was high school reunion, which was 10 years ago. And so when I make it back to her hair stuff, I'm not making fun of what was going on in her home, because I know I have a lot of weird habits and a lot of weird shit that I do now because of the stuff that was going on in my home. And so please know that I'm not poking fun, and I'm imagining she and I found each other because we both didn't have a lot to go home to, and it was probably a really scary household for the both of us. And so I didn't cut my own hair often, but Stephanie would cut her own hair. I did shave my eyebrows once, so she plucked all her eyebrows off. Still rocks that look, which is bananas. My cousin Bill, he went to another high school, and he was always really popular, and all of his popular hot friends, Mike Champion. Look up Mike Champion. You're welcome. Actually, I don't know. He was a hot 16-year-old when I was 16. Who knows what time has done to him. But they used to call her eyebrows because she had no eyebrows. She plucked them to like the thinnest. Now, grant you, it was the 90s, so there was like less eyebrows. It's not the way it is now. But like, and a lot of us all really are bummed out about it because I, for one, can't grow eyebrows. I draw most of mine in, probably from the shaving incident. And I did that junior year prom. Nightmare. But so Stephanie was trying to cut her bangs. So she comes to school one day and she has this big headband over where like the top, like a little circle where her bangs should be, like a big headband, right? And then like kind of her hair over it, like the 90s, like big, like hairspray style, right? And we're like, oh, new headband. And she's like, I accidentally cut all my hair off last night. And we're like, what? She goes, I was trying to cut my bangs. And, oh man, I was such a mean kid. She was trying to cut her bangs, and, it was getting shorter and shorter, and then she panicked and shaved herself a bald spot. I don't know how you go from that, but again, when you don't have a lot of parental supervision or like a mom, I mean, that's why I shaved my eyebrows. I didn't have parents. Like my dad was, doing whatever that guy was doing. My mom plucked my eyebrows like 3 times, and it was like a treat that she was paying attention to me. You know what I mean? Or that she was around and sober. So like, I get it. So she was wearing this headband, and I remember, oh man, this is so mean. We were in math class in 8th grade, and she and I sat in the back, and basically we didn't, like, I think I passed that class. I don't remember the teacher's name, but she was like an older woman who was in love with my dad. Like every day she would be like, so your dad's single? Is your dad coming to parent-teacher conference? So I think I got away with just sitting in the back and fucking off because that woman liked my dad. Also, it was kind of a sweet kid to adults, right? And other people. This was just a prank to Stephanie. So Stephanie and I used to sit in this back of this 8th grade classroom and draw boobs and penises on her desk. That was what we did through math class. And we would laugh, and most of the time one of us would pee our pants from laughing. Yeah, we did it into junior high, sometimes in high school too, guys. I was talking to my best friend Katie, who is super popular, my current best friend. Who, not current, but I've talked about her a ton, right? Well, it makes me sound like I go through them, like I go through dudes, you know what I mean? But she was really popular in high school, like really popular in high school. And I was like, wow, we wouldn't have been friends in high school. I mean, I don't think I was popular. And she goes, well, you played dolls and peed your pants till you were like 16. So I'm going to say no. And I was like, that was really accurate and kind of harsh. Katie is from a small town in Michigan. This is a real quick sidebar. This bitch is my fucking hero. Small town in Michigan, very conservative. And when she was in high school, she was in this classroom, and gay marriage was being discussed, and how it was like an abomination. It was wrong, and like God won't love you in the Bible, and blah, blah, blah. And Katie, who's pretty quiet, stands up and goes, oh yeah? Well, I don't believe in God. What do you all think of that? And then she got nominated homecoming queen. Actually, I found out the other day she was nominated homecoming queen. Homecoming queen before that. And then she goes, yeah, they really hated us by the end of that whole thing. And then she said she streaked her high school graduation and didn't wear and went naked under her robe. She's my fucking hero. Why did I start talking about Katie? Oh yeah, because she was really popular, and when I was like, maybe I was popular, and she's like, girl, no. But see, kids, if you're listening and you're not popular, it gets better. Who gives a fuck? Just keep doing you. I was super weird in high school, and I am a happy mid to late 30s woman. So Stephanie are drawing boobs and dicks like we normally are, and this kid Josh Harrington, who he was my boyfriend for a little bit in 6th grade, who's also unfriended me because I think I unfriended that guy. His cover photo on Facebook is the Confederate flag. I just unfriend. You can't logic. If someone loves that thing that much that they make it a part of their Facebook, it's just like, I can't be a part of this. Unfriend. But, he was a little kid at the time, so he was probably, at the time, currently being taught all the hate in his household, which is so sad because it's a cycle. This episode is all over the map. It's like, boogers, pee, racism. But I think that's kind of what I do anyway. So we're sitting in back drawing boobs and penises, and and Josh Harrington is sitting in the front of the class, nerd, and he goes, hey, Kim, how can we because Stephanie was super shy too. I forgot to tell you that. Stephanie and that was probably why we got in so many fights. Like, cause she would get really mad at me and ignore me for a couple of days because I was so loud and weird, and she was like painfully shy. So he's like, hey, Kim, how can we get your quiet friend to say something? Oh man, you guys, I feel so bad about this still. I was like, I don't know, if you pull down her headband, she might do something. I don't know exactly. I said something like that. And so Josh walks back there and pulls down her headband and reveals her bald spot. And I don't mean to, I'm sorry. I'm only laughing because I have the image. I've never seen such a quiet human get up and react so quickly. Like, she stood up and punched this kid like 3 fucking times to the ground. And the teacher, who had a crush on my dad, just like sat there sipping her coffee, not giving a fuck, because she probably knew this Josh Harrington kid had what was coming to him. And I couldn't react because I was peeing my pants. I was laughing so hard. So then a couple of, in that same 8th grade class, Stephanie's sitting in the back. We're in the back. And Stephanie's sitting there itching her nose. Or I thought she was itching her nose. It turns out she was picking it. And I yelled, "Hey, everybody, Stephanie's picking her nose!" And the whole class turns and looks at her. And she quickly pulls out her, oh man, I get why this, maybe she unfriended me for all this. Maybe now she's just fine. Maybe she's going through therapy and she's like, that bitch was my high school bully. Could have nothing to do with any of this stuff. So she pulls her finger out quickly, and then a big, long, lime green, I mean, it was like probably an unhealthy green string booger comes out, not once, but she pulls it twice, 3 times the lady until it all is out of her nose. They called her Snot Rocket until mid-high school. And so, yeah, now I'm in hindsight, I'm like, man, I might have, I mean, she also, though, bullied me quite a bit, too. I'm just telling it's not my job to tell you her side of the road, but my side of the road is I did those 2 things. Oh my God, I have a bubble in my throat. Do you guys hear it? Oh, I wonder how long it popped. Has that ever happened to you? So we, oh my God, I don't even know. So we, I'm trying to think what picture I'm going to put with today's episode too. Cause this is, I wanted to talk about all the harassment and stuff that's going on in that has been going on in the comedy community. And maybe I'll save that for, Kral Space Live or next week. Cause we didn't get to it today, but I promise I will get to it. And, believe women, and if you are, just believe women. Come on. And I am tired of hearing, well, he was my friend. Like, I like him. That's what people said about my dad, what they currently say about my dad. So, that's a lot to admit in a minute. So one time Aspen went to the Air Force, right? And so in college, oh Jesus, a lot's going on with my insides. I'm not farting, so I don't want to say just gassy. I'm like burping and hiccuping and bubble throating. Gross, guys. Sorry. Maybe there should be a trigger warning on this about just like don't be eating, because I talk about boogers. Boogers are like the one thing. Boogers and throw up are like the things I can't think about while I'm eating. Like poop doesn't bother me. Anyway, okay. So Aspen's in the Air Force, and I get to college. And I am, I got to turn over a new leaf. I got to become cooler. I don't know. I still was weird, but I was cute. So like, I was popular, as popular as you can be in a college town, because it's college. You know what I mean? But so I made this friend Amy, who was so cool, like just so cool and pretty, and like she was my best friend, and she and I were like partners in crime. And I like a lot of days, I mean, she knew how fucking weird I was. She still knows how fucking weird I am. We're still in touch. Hi, Amy. But like she was just always like, you're so fucking weird. But she would partake. I find normal girls to just partake in my weird shit. We used to run across college campus I used to call it my ostrich run, and then she would do it with me, where you would run like an ostrich. And man, I haven't tried to run like an ostrich in a long time. I should try it again. But we would do that all the time. But so she was like, yeah, I'll come with you. So Aspen's military Air Force base, where she was going through camp and everything, was in Cheyenne, Wyoming, which was like an hour outside of Greeley, Colorado, where we were going to school. And so we were like, well, let's go visit her at her camp, right? And so, I mean, like at this point, Amy is my new friend, so she doesn't know how fucking weird I am yet. She just thinks I'm cute and I'm funny. So like, she probably thought she befriended another popular kid. So we get to the Air Force base and we walk inside to check in. And what happens next? Like we walk out, like I'll just tell you first her reaction. We walk out and she's just looking at me like I'm in a bunny suit. And she was like, what the fuck was that? And I was like, I don't know. I got really nervous. Like they had their guns and their dogs, and there was like 7 of them, and they were all staring at us. And I just panicked. And she goes, yeah, that was really weird. We went in and I just basically rambled at him. here's my ID. And I was like, Aspen and I have been best friends for a really long time. This one time, our friend Stephanie Norton pulled a bunch of boogers out of her, and I told that story, but like really quick and sweaty. I was like, and then they called her Snot Rocket until like mid high school. We're still friends with her. This isn't the Snot Rocket, but I still think about that all the time. And they all just like stare, like sweating, like I was smuggling in a bomb in that Air Force, like my name is Kim. I'm from Littleton, Colorado. I'm 5'11". They sometimes call me Kim's riding a chicken in high school. Yeah, they used to say that. I had chicken legs. I still have chicken legs, but now I have them on photo shoots. So if you're a weird gangly teenager, you get to grow up to be, a smoke show. So don't let anybody. I remember my two best friends in elementary school were like really pretty and popular. And I was like their duff. And like, I remember like we would hang out with boys and they would be like, well, one of you has to dance with Kimmy. And they would be like, ew, I don't want to dance with her. So embarrassing now. But like, that's why I have a personality. But then we found out, someone told us, they're like, you know what, actually, if you're really ugly as a kid, you grow up to be like really pretty. So then we started calling each other ugly because we were like, that means we get to grow up to be pretty. But I remember secretly thinking like, these bitches are actually pretty and I'm missing all my teeth. My legs are extraordinarily hairy. And I look like I'm riding a chicken, and my hands are the size of an adult's hands. My hands have been this size for the whole time, as long as I can remember. And I'm a tall woman, so I have big hands. But those two, one woman, I don't know where she's at. She grew up in where I don't know, but the other one went to jail for a while, and she has do not resuscitate on her chest, tattooed in like big like gang writing. So isn't that wild? Just looking back on, they stopped being my friend though in like fourth or fifth grade because they started drinking and doing drugs, and I didn't want to do that. Also, they started like molesting each other, like playing doctor. And I remember one of those girls had and which is normal, I guess, for a kid, like, but she was having a slumber party with all the popular girls. The one who has do not resuscitate on her chest now, who went to jail for a while. I wonder if she listens to this. I don't know. I think we're friends on Facebook. My dad really freaked out when years ago, I told him that I found her on Facebook, and he's like, you be careful. She just got out of jail. She's probably going to want to come to LA and steal from you. And I was like, I don't have anything. What a weird, long theft, like drive to Los Angeles. Like, I'm 23 years old. I have a 10-year-old laptop and a Nokia cell phone. Like, I'm pretty positive bitch isn't gonna try and rob me for anything. But so she has this slumber party with all the popular girls, and this was like when my popularity was demising. And so she's like, all right, at one point in the slumber party, she goes, all right, everybody, everyone, we're gonna pair up. I'm pairing up now. She pairs everyone up. She pairs me up with her because I'm not friends with all the really popular girls anymore. And she's like, and we're going to, switch off. So she turns off the lights, and then she gets on top of me and she starts humping me, and I freeze. Like, first of all, I come from sexual abuse. It's so hard for me to admit on here. I'm very open about it in my life, and I will talk to anybody about it. But having it recorded, which I have done, Crawl Space episode 1, I say it right in there. It's just, I guess I probably don't have to explain why it's hard to say out loud sometimes. But like, I froze, but then what her reaction was, it's still, I look back and I'm like, oh, so embarrassed, which is so funny that I was the embarrassed one. So she stops, which is good on her. She saw she wasn't getting consent, and she stops, turns on the lights, and goes, hey, everyone, not everyone is going to want to touch each other. So if you get one of the girls that doesn't want to fool around with you, it's okay to just sit there in the dark. And I was so ashamed. Like, all the girls looked at me and like glared and was like, oh my God, Kimmy doesn't want to like mess around with us. There was another girl that she was friends with at another school. So then when I got to her, she and I just sat there, and then we asked if we could just be partners the whole night so we could just like talk and not, touch each other. I think the lead popular girl also deleted me off Facebook. I don't know why. I have a lot of people from my high school that will delete me. And the only reason why I know they delete me is because they'll add me back on Facebook a lot. And I'll just re-add them because who gives a shit? I mean, now I'm more picky about it. So, but I think she deleted me a while ago. What's so wild? The only time I've deleted anybody is if they were an ex, or, racism or sexism. Like it's just like if they're spewing hate or threats, you know what I mean? But, this was just an episode that was an ode to Stephanie. I'm sad that, that we're not friends. That's a lie. I don't really care that much, but it was nice going back down memory lane and how fucking weird we were. And like, though we never talked about it, I will say, she was the first person I'm going to end this episode on this. She was the first person, we were in 4th grade, that I told her what was going on at home with my dad. And, I didn't know what exactly it was. So I didn't know. And like, and her reaction, I think, was one of the reasons why I kept quiet for so long. And obviously not shaming her at all. She was fucking 8 or 9. We were both navigating some real adult scary shit. Not adult shit, just like shit that like most people will never have to navigate in their lives. And I again have no idea what was going on in her home, but I do know that, I know abuse, and she and I bonded a little too hard on all the weird shit. But I remember we were in my bathroom in my home, and I told her what was going on. Like, and I'm not going to get into details, so don't ask. Use your fucking imagination. I told her, and she looked at me. I remember clear as day. She like backed up, looked at me, and looked down and shut down. Like just fucking shut down. So we went about the day, and like, we played, but she was completely silent all day. And then she didn't talk to me for a while. Like a while was probably like a week or so. And I remember thinking, oh, okay, so this is bad. And if you tell people about this, they won't want to be your friend anymore. And not that I'm shaming little Kim, my little girl. There was a lot going on in both of my households that like, I don't know. And truthfully, I'm really grateful for it, honestly. It's taken a lot of fucking hard work to get to that, but I look at it as I'm so glad it was so bad, because if it was just a little bad, like enough that I could justify it, I would have stayed complacent in Colorado, and I would have kept the family cycle of abuse and dysfunction going. And instead, I had to get the fuck out of there. And I'm not saying everyone who stays in their hometown or whatever is keeping a family, but I'm saying like, if it was just like, oh, my parents are alcoholics and I just like stay, like I would have kept the cycle going. But because it was so awful, I had to get the fuck out of town. Like I had to get the fuck out of there. And I'm also grateful that, maybe I wish it didn't happen to me, obviously. But like if I had really great grandparents. Like my dad's parents were, truthfully, I think any reason why I have any good inside of me, all of like my good inside of me is from those two people. Those two people helped raise me, and they gave me stability and love, and they taught me empathy and compassion and humor and all of that stuff. My papa died 20 years ago, and my grandma died like 10, and my papa was my favorite human, and it's been 20 years, and I still haven't met a human that I love as much as that guy. My mom always said that guy and I were like best friends from the moment I was born. Like I'm not the oldest, but like my mom was just like, I don't know, the second you were born, there was just a connection there. And I don't know, soulmates are real. And I don't mean in the love way, obviously, but like my papa and I were, like, I was my favorite human. And my grandma, I already told you when my papa died, my grandma telling everyone that I was their favorite. But I think that if I would have told someone, I would have been taken away. And I know that I don't know, I know the foster care system is much more abusive than what I was going through. And I was, I mean, not always, there's a lot of good people out there, obviously, who take in foster kids, but like, I'm so grateful that, I don't know. I feel like once again, into the episode, I'm like, did I confess too much? But that's my truth. And honestly, like, I have received so many messages from people that I haven't spoken to in years, people I've briefly met, strangers who have come across my podcast that have said that my honesty has helped them. And like, I hope, like, my story's ugly and it's not, and I don't mean that in a shameful way, but like I had a bad childhood, a very traumatic childhood. And I just want, getting those messages is like my dreams are coming true, because the only thing I can do with all of that is heal it and help people. I always say I want to save the world. And maybe I won't be able to, like save the world the way Buffy did. I remember real quick in college, I was sitting on my roommate's bed, and I was drunk because it was like, I was 18 and it was Friday night, but I was really emotional, but emotional, like not like crying, but like real serious. And my sweet mate Jenny, she told me a couple days later that she could hear everything, and she goes, "I'm listening to you explain to other Kim, my roommate, about how the world is awful and how I'm going to fix it." And then she goes, "Then you got really quiet and you said, I'm going to save the world the way Buffy and Angel do." And she says she's in her bed and she's like, "Oh my God." But like, as funny as that is, like I am, 20 years later, I'm like, yeah, I still want to save the fucking world. And like, if I can just be honest and open about what happened to me, and like, I'm tired of being quiet about it. It makes a lot of my family uncomfortable. It makes a lot of people in my past uncomfortable, but like, it's not your story. I'm sorry that my abuse makes you uncomfortable, but that's none of my fucking business. Be uncomfortable over there, because I deserve to heal this fucking shit, and I'm not going to heal it if I keep hiding behind your uncomfortable that someone you knew used to abuse me. So I share this shit because I want people to know they're not alone. I want people to know that like, you can get through it and you deserve to get on the other side. And like, I'm going to wrap up today's very, very, I talked about Stephanie a little bit longer than I meant to, but I'm glad I did. I wish her the best. I guess Trump took another friendship. We'll say that. I don't know. I might have made that up. It could have been the snot rocket thing and she's in therapy. I would rather that, honestly. That would mean that Colorado might have a vote for Biden in a swing state. Just kidding. Not kidding, actually. But what was? Oh, I want to end this episode. I'm in a 12-step. I think I'm not in AA, obviously. Obviously, I'm not giving that up. But I just mean like I don't have a substance abuse problem. But I'm in a 12-step that has helped me an insane amount, night and day amount, working through my childhood abuse. I was in one that was for friends and family of alcoholics, and it really helped. I guess it's my anonymity that I'm outing, so it's fine. I was in Al-Anon for a really long time, and Al-Anon's great. Al-Anon, if you're around alcoholics, it helps you figure that. Like, I will give you all of the information all day, every day about Al-Anon. I am a huge fan of it. It just wasn't the thing that healed me. So I heard about ACA, which is Adult Children of Alcoholics and Dysfunction, about 10 years into Al-Anon, maybe 12 years. I don't fucking know. And so I went in there and I was home. I finally felt safe enough to start talking about all of the stuff that I'm talking to you guys about. And if it weren't, and yesterday I celebrated 2 years in that. So 2 years in this. And yesterday's birthday was much more significant than my regular birthday, because in the last 2 years I have basically dug deep and looked at every single awful thing that happened in those houses, and I'm trying to heal it. And so I'm really proud of myself, actually. Like, and I 2 years ago I couldn't have been able to say I'm really proud of myself. I'm awesome. So if you're suffering from any of this stuff, or you relate to any of this and you want to reach out, or you want any information about how I've looked at this stuff, my whole world has changed. And thank you for listening, and thank you for all the love and the support. I already told you I'm very uncomfortable with love, but I'm working through that and walking through it. And send Stephanie some love. Good 25 years of a lot of laughter, and I think we found each other because we probably had a lot of shit going on in our house that I know I did, that we couldn't face alone. So I love you, Stephanie. Thank you for being my first partner in crime. I'm crying already, but I just like it. It's I don't know, and I get it, and I'm not gonna reach out, and like, we have nothing in common now as adults. Like, it's fine, but just like, I don't know, just sin and love. Wow. So I cried twice in this episode, which is fine. If you like what you hear, please share it. I'd love more listeners. I love all the listeners I have now. But share it if you could. That'd be awesome. And give it a rating, give it a review. I have a couple bad 1-star reviews, which maybe it was Stephanie. Maybe Stephanie was like, "Fuck this bitch." Just kidding. But yeah, give me some reviews. It really helps. It takes a couple of minutes. A bunch of you have done it already, and I want you to know I will go through the DMs. I will. That is a goal for this week. I have like 2 scripts that 2 of my friends wrote too that I keep promising I'm going to read. God, the world's on fire. Yeah, so give it a rating, give it a review. I would love that. I think next Monday, we're going to have Kral Space on Dash. Stay tuned for some previews that I'm editing together now. I have Michael Malone on my first episode, who I am obsessed with. His book, I said it was bits and pieces. It had since changed since the recording of that episode. It is now called Dead Serious, and I already read it, but I'm getting my hard copy soon. So I'm so excited about that. He also tweeted the other day to follow female comedians. Some of his favorite female comedians, and he made a list of some of the funniest fucking women in the business, and he put me on the list, and it was a really big honor to be on that list. Not only on that list with that someone I respect so much in comedy made, but also on a list with women that like blow my mind or so funny. If you want to see the list, it's on my Twitter. Yeah, with that being said, if you follow me on all my socials, I will have a couple Zoom shows coming up because the world has changed. And it's all KYMKRAL. This episode has been really great. It's been really this was productive, I feel like. This was great. But no, I feel lighter. I guess I needed to get the Stephanie stuff off my chest, I suppose. Next week we'll talk more about, the world being on fire if you'd like. But every Wednesday there's a new episode of Kral Space. Hopefully it releases at noon. That's usually the goal. And coming soon, Monday nights live on Dash Radio, Kral Space live. I'm going to end this with a belch, I guess. I just burped. Thank you guys so much for listening, and bye. Wow.